Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Icon series of the Game Changers podcast. I am so excited for you guys to be here with us on this remarkable journey and conversations with legends in their individual industries. My first guest in this series is Ted Sandiford. Many of you might know him as the owner and creator of Acid Creations. But what if I told you that the beginning of Ted's journey was very uncertain? Well, I'll let him tell you his story himself in this amazing episode. Hello, Ted. How are you, man?
I'm good.
Great to hear, man. Great to hear. I'm very honored to have you here. If I would think of some dream guests to have, your name would have been on. Maybe not at the very, very, very top, but very close to the very, very top of the list.
Cool. I feel honored that somebody feels that way about being a guest on the show.
Absolutely. All right, man. So let's get straight into it. I find that most people, at least in St. Lucia, would know who you are. But let's assume that somebody's watching this and doesn't know who Ted Sandiford is at all. Tell the people from your point of view who you are in a nutshell.
Ted Sandiford, media artist, animator, educator, fitness enthusiast. I guess I would say like everything that has to do with the arts because I dabble in a little music as well. I am not a professional musician, right? But when it comes to concepts and these kinds of things, yeah, I can help in that department. But I would mainly say that Ted Sandiford is a media artist. Media meaning I don't focus only on the traditional art. My focus mainly is on digital work, as in graphic design, animation, filmmaking, you name it. Once it's digital, which doesn't mean that I cannot do traditional. I can do traditional as well, but my focus is on digital.
Okay. Brilliant. So you are a media artist. That's from your point of view. Interesting.
Yes.
All right. So then tell me where did this begin for you? What first drew you to art? Was there anything in your childhood that inspired you to become an artist? Tell me a little bit about that story. I think that's an interesting story.
Well, to be very honest with you, I cannot really tell when I became interested in art because for as long as I know myself, I had a pencil in my hand, right? Drawing and right. But I never thought that my career, as growing up, I never thought that my career would be in art because I had the assumption that people who are artists won't be very successful in life. Yeah, the art is good. But I guess that's something that was drilled in my head based on our society. Many people were of the opinion that artists would die poor. And
Yeah.
the dream jobs were lawyer, doctor, teacher, these kinds of things, So although I had the passion for art, I didn't see my future in art because of the mentality that I had at the time, because it was instilled in my head. Growing up, my mother encouraged me a lot when it comes to the art. She used to buy my equipment. I used to hound the lady for paper every time she goes to work. Mommy, you didn't bring any paper for me. Right. So, she really supported me, but it was like a heads and tails kind of thing. So my mother would support me and my father didn't like the idea of me doing art because he was of the opinion that try to study to be a doctor instead, do something worthwhile,
Right.
But and I guess, he just wanted the best for his son. It's not like, it was he had say any kind of ill intent. At that time, he just wanted the best for his son. So he didn't see art as this, right? So this is where that mentality came from. So you'd find out when I was in school, I wanted to be a writer because I love writing as well. I love reading and I love writing. I love telling stories, So I wanted to be a writer. So I did in secondary school, I was in the arts class. Arts meaning I did history, I did literature, I did, I think I did integrated science, these kinds of things. A touch of integrated science. I hated science. But we will get into that relationship later down my lifeline. All right. So when I went to St. Apollos Community College, I did no. First I went to the technical division. I was interested in architecture. I loved architecture. So I went to the technical division. I applied, and then I realized that I was under the assumption I would just be sitting in a classroom drawing like house plans and this kind of things, but that wasn't the case. Yes, there were classes we had to do it, but the other classes when I had to do carpentry,
Mm.
masonry, um, plumbing, these kinds of things, right? And that is not my forte. So I failed these classes
Wow.
miserably. Right. The only class I passed was the English class, and I think architecture class. I was just breezing through that because it's what I wanted to
Right.
do. But I I stopped. I didn't continue that program. I just did it for a year, and I transferred to the A level division where I did management of business, history, and economics.
Wow. Wow. A total shift.
Yeah. A total shift. And sometimes I think back and I said I should have stayed there and just tried my best to do. But anyway, our path is
Right.
our path. So I completed the A level college, and I was at home for a few months. Now I like to work. I'm a
Mm.
workaholic. As in, from the time I think I was 14, I was doing little jobs. And that's another thing too. Guys used to pay me to do little art pieces for them. So, for example, if it's Valentine's Day,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
fellas would pay me some money to do a little portrait,
Of course. Of
for their
course. Of course.
girlfriend, these kinds of things. So the lesson was on. So I developed. I knew that okay, I could use my art to make a little money. All right. So even at when I was in the technical division, I used to draw a lot. So I actually had a comic book series. I will not tell you what it was about,
All right.
but right. I made some money off of that because I sold these comic books to my peers at the school. So um every day it will end with to be continued. So everybody will look forward to seeing the next issue. All right. So I completed um A level, and I was home for a couple of months, and I was stagnant. I needed something to do. It was then that my art teacher, when I was doing art at St. Mary's College, um, he contacted me and he told me that he was
Mm.
retiring and he couldn't think of anybody else to replace him but me. Now, teaching wasn't on my radar. Oh, not at all. But then I was always up to a challenge. I didn't like staying in my comfort zone. I was always up to a challenge. So I took on a challenge and I started teaching at St. Mary's College in the year 2000, September 2000. And fresh out of A level, I think at the time I was 20 years
Young.
teaching
Very young.
boys that yeah. So if we were checking those that were in from the boys that were in from 5, right? When I was actually in school with
Yeah.
them when they went from
Mm-hmm.
1. Yeah. So I was saying nervous about that. How will the boys view me? You understand? So I took on that challenge, fresh out of A level and so on. I was nervous, right? But as I developed, because the thing about it is, I always had the mentality that we learn from each other. So from the get go, I would explain to the student that I don't see myself as a teacher. I see myself as a facilitator when it comes to visual art. We bounce information and we learn from each other. So, I mean, I developed a good relationship with my students and so on. So I taught at St. Mary's for 2 years. And then I decided to go to teachers college, right? So I did that. It was at my third time. In fact, it was my third time at Suffolk Community College.
Wow.
So I went to teachers college. I spent 2 years teaching, doing my teaching, education there. So after that, I went back to St. Mary's College. I was still on staff. I was on study leave and I returned to St. Mary's College. So then I kept on teaching, but my interest shifted. So I didn't want to be a writer again. I wanted to be a graphic designer. So I developed my skills in graphic design as well. Now, the same thing about me, once I'm interested in something, I will go all out and study that particular issue, that particular topic. I will do that. So I was having a discussion with one of my students, and he was telling me, so I know you want to do graphic design, but why not do animation instead? So I'm like, animation, why? He said, so it's like graphic design in motion.
Good point.
I said, like, hey. So yes, it was this student who actually introduced me to this software called at the time it was Macromedia Flash. So I actually downloaded the program. Well, I downloaded it as in I will not tell you how I got the software, but I got all of it. So and I actually locked myself in my room for like a weekend and I learned that particular software. And it was then that I said, okay, that could be something. So I showed my friends my work, so on, because I already know how to draw cartoon characters. So I'm actually making them move now. So one of my friends showed his friend, whose friend was a DJ. He's still a DJ now, DJ Play. So DJ Play told me, yo, Ted, I'm having a session and I want to do something different. I have a airtime with DBS. So let's try and do a cartoon. So I told him, okay. The session's name was Outside. I remember the name for that session. And he allowed me to do the animation and so on. And then I did that, and that ad was being played on DBS prime time. And it was from that point that people asked Play, who did that ad for you? And Play would refer me and so on. And then I started getting jobs from other DJs who were having parties. And then I started to get jobs from the corporate world, as in so a couple of jobs from M&C, Valmore, these places. And this is when I started to see that there's actual value in the stuff that I do. So why not get myself qualified, man? So I looked at animation schools. I went all over the place. Okay, and I went online looking for animation school. Things are expensive.
Yeah.
Right. So I hit on the Art Institute, right? And at that point, I mean, I had my family, I had my kids, and so on. So I would have preferred to do it online instead of going overseas. So I was looking for an online division of the Art Institute, and then I got the Art Institute of Pittsburgh.
Right.
So I'm seeing that the tuition for all 4 years would be $120,000.
Wow.
Right. So yeah. But then I had that mentality that when you start something, you have to finish
For
it.
sure.
You understand? So I started because trust me, I went all over the place trying to get a student's loan and nobody would give me any kind of loan.
For
No
art.
institution.
Right.
There was actually one institution I went to. The lady told me, the loans officer told me, why don't you try and study something more lucrative, like
Wow.
like medicine or something? Why is that you want to do? Because she herself was shocked that they actually had degrees in these kinds of things. Yeah. But even as a teacher, when I was when the students have to select the subjects, the parents are shocked that they actually have visual arts for CSEC,
Yep.
you know.
Yep.
Yeah. But anyways, it started off. I took a small loan and I started with the Art Institute, and I was that was a small loan. So eventually, I started to pay out of my pocket
Mm.
because the small loan I took was just to start. It was just for the first
Yeah.
semester.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was when I realized that money had to be made to pay my tuition. This is where acid creations began, right? Because I was using my business to pay my tuitions for my personal skills, which would go back to the business, which will grow the business. Because as you see, the more I learn at the Art Institute, I would implement what I learned in my business one time.
Got you.
So I actually saw that the evolution of my business.
Was the name?
All right.
Let's suppose you
Before.
there. Was the name Acid Creations
Uh,
there already, or did that come later?
Okay, the name acid was ready, right? Because in my, I would say,
Mm.
evolution, I was a DJ
Ah, okay.
as well, right? So while I was at teachers college, all right, I used to DJ.
Mm.
Now I always like to be different,
Right.
right? And there were a lot of DJ mixes out there. So what I would do, based on whatever that's trending, right, in St. Lucia, I would do little skits in between the mixes based on that. They were, well, everybody assumed that, I mean, they had the impression that it was very funny. They
Right.
found it
Right.
funny,
Right. Right.
right? But you know already, because you're the one doing it, so you don't know. Right? So, I released different acid mixes. There was acid 1, 2, I think I did up to 10 of them, right? So at the time, acid meant audio through in defiance,
Okay.
as in defiance of the norm.
Right. Right. Right.
You always try to be
Different. Yeah.
different. Mhm. So I did acid 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then in acid 7, my friend Scadi and the Scadi Eugene was introduced, and he was a DJ as well, and we worked together, right? And we did some, I would say, some extraordinary things when it came to mixing and so on. It's a norm for us now when you see a DJ come with his laptop or with his other laptop and they playing from the laptop. But in these times, in the year to let's say 2023,
Mm-hmm.
and how many 23, the year 2003, 2004, you would not see, right, people playing
A
with
laptop.
a laptop.
Yeah.
You would see the turntables
Mm-hmm.
or the CD mixers or this kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? But Ted Sandiford and Scadi used to reach into people's
With a
session with a
laptop.
laptop. A laptop. There were sometimes I was bringing my whole desktop.
Wow.
The DJs used to call. I remember one of the DJs used to call this DJ Internet, DJ Computer, all kind of names they used to call us. But our thing is what our thing was like, yo, is that you put the same music that comes out to the speakers. You understand what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Right? So we didn't take heed to what these DJs would do. Well, they must have a lot of pressure, right? Because they didn't regard that as DJing,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you know? And then when you look 20 years later, who comes in a session with turntables
Nope.
again?
Nobody.
Everybody, right? So you find that Rewind, this is where acid was born.
Mm.
So I kept that name for the business. So at first it was Acid Designs because I was a graphic designer at first
Right.
and so on.
Mm-hmm.
So and then when I started to delve into more things like the animation and so on, it became Acid
Got
Creations.
you.
Artistic, creative, innovative, dynamic creations.
Wow.
All right. So this is what acid means. So that's basically the evolution of acid right now. Okay. So I university for me was very painstaking in
Mm-hmm.
the fact that to continuously try to get to work or to get the money to pay tuition was very daunting on me. But I was only looking at the end result. There was a point when I was stumped and I had to take a break from school because just didn't have the funds. All right. So I had many breaks like that. But towards the end, I realized that, yo, Ted, you have to finish that.
Mm-hmm.
So in our small St. Lucian society, I had to bite the bullet and do crowd funding.
Wow. Wow.
Right? Yeah, man. So I look at all the platforms. I look at GoFundMe. I say, no, no, they don't want to use GoFundMe
Right.
because there's a delusion mentality
Yeah,
and so
yeah, yeah.
on. Because the thing is, I went to different banks to try and finish this, get the money to finish school, but I was not getting any
Right.
loan. They don't give loans like casual student loans and these kinds of things. You understand what I'm
Yep.
saying? So that was a stress for me. So that's where I felt cornered, but something told me that I have to finish this.
Mm-hmm.
So I did the crowdfunding approach with this platform called Indiegogo.
Yes, yes, I know that one.
With Indiegogo, yeah, because with Indiegogo, you have to look for a service.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the people will contribute or whatever. If they don't want the service, they tell you they want to contribute, which is what's fine by me. And so I actually raised the money before the time.
Wow.
So I actually made more money to pay my tuition. So yo, I was so happy and I felt so
Mm-hmm.
blessed that people actually believed in me so much that I got the funding for that. So I completed school, and I actually graduated. I mean, I was the valedictorian,
Wow.
right? Yeah, man, I was a valedictorian. So, well, my speech and everything is on YouTube as well. Probably later on, I could send you the link or
For
whatever,
sure.
right? So, I mean, I returned home because I went to the graduation, and I mean, everybody felt accomplished because they helped me through that process, right? And up to a day like today, I still feel like I owe my country for actually helping me get that degree, right? So, and I'm giving back as in through education.
For
I love
sure. For
education.
sure.
I do not like ignorance, you know? So when I see somebody doesn't know something, right, I try my best to educate them because ignorance is our downfall as human beings, you know?
Yep.
The more we learn, the better. But at the same time, sometimes we use our knowledge for negative stuff, which is very bad.
Absolutely.
So, so here we have now Ted Sandiford, the animator, the graphic designer, even the writer and so on, right? But while I was at the Art Institute, I developed a love for filmmaking because there are some classes where I had to be able to use the camera, these kinds of things for backgrounds and so on. So I had a love for filmmaking. So I started to delve into producing music videos
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and I started to work with many artists. Local artists Ricky T, Ezra the Fun Machine, um, regional artists like Bunji Garlin, Sean Winchester, and so on. Maka Diamond.
Right, right, right.
Okay, I have worked with these people. So but in starting the music videos, I must give Sherwin Dupes Price his props and so on. We worked together as well. And I remember one of my first music videos was an animated music video. It was for Shepdog. It's that for that song, Yes, that song.
Right, 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 right.
Yeah. I did I did that animated video for these guys. All right. And keep in mind, education for you as well, that an animated video can be actually more expensive than using live action.
Wow.
Many times it is much more expensive than using live action. You see, there's a misconception that many people have. Many of my clients approach me because they think that
It's
animation
cheap.
is
Yeah.
cheaper than live action, but no, it's not. It's not. You know. So here we have Ted Sandiford, animator, graphic designer, filmmaker, and so on. So everything digital is encompassed right there. All right. So I I was focusing on, I say I'll focus on my business, that education thing.
Right, right, right.
I finished with going to school. I finished with going
So
to
you
school.
thought.
So man, when I got my degree, I I was qualified now to actually go to teach at South Community College, right? And they had just introduced, well, they had digital media and they were looking for a digital media lecturer. Now, I had been working at South Community College as an adjunct lecturer.
Okay.
I was teaching after hours, right? So now that I was qualified to be a lecturer, I took the jump and I transferred. If I not transfer, I went to teach at Arthur Lewis Community College. So right now I'm the lecturer of animation and design at Sir Arthur Lewis Community College.
Wow.
Right? And it's a wonderful experience. I like to transfer the knowledge to my students. And I also like to let everybody know that we have to evolve ourselves.
For sure.
If you notice, like you have a cell phone, right? And if let's say you have an iPhone, every so often we have a new iOS.
Mm-hmm.
Right now we're on iOS 18, right? 18? Yeah, we're on iOS 18. So software keeps on updating and updating. So we ourselves need to update as well. All right. So I always try to drill that in my students. So I'm constantly going on different forums and whatnot, trying to. Now I do remember saying that I was done with school already, but then an opportunity arose where I had to study, given the opportunity to study in South Korea.
Wow.
I had to study virtual reality. So I would attain my master's degree in virtual reality, sorry, if I opted to take on the scholarship. And I accepted. I accepted. So it was 3 semesters in all. The first 2 semesters we did it online, and the last semester we had to travel halfway across the world to
South Korea.
Korea. And this, yeah, man, and this itself was another part of my evolution, because when you work in a different culture altogether, right, you actually add different elements of art that you didn't know about in you.
Yep.
Right. So I learned a lot. I learned a lot from the professors. A lot of them the English was beating them in, right? But the world is pretty small right now, because thanks to Google Translate, these kinds of things, we could have communicated. And there were certain things that I was doing, certain processes I was doing, and I thought it was efficient. It wasn't efficient at all. They taught me to work more efficiently. So my specialization in the virtual reality program was design. So I would be the person designing the models for the different sets, okay, in whichever environment in the virtual. So it was an OECS project. So there were different people from different OECS islands. There were 2 of us from St. Lucia.
Okay.
So I was the only designer there. The others would doing the coding and the planning and so on. So everything that had to be done when it comes to the visual aspect of it, I was that person. So I attained my master's degree in virtual reality from Namsul University, and I attained that 2 years ago, right? And this is me right now. I am trying my best as a media artist, and now we have added to my portfolio is virtual reality.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
What a story. What a story. What a timeline from not even being sure about art as a profession to art being your entire life now.
Yeah.
I mean that is truly
Yeah.
amazing.
I like to use myself as an example, because this mentality in our small society has not changed, right? And I
At all.
want to use myself as an example so that others can see. This is the reason why, I am constantly on social media, portraying my art, doing different things. Well, now I'm a I design t-shirts as well. I'm collaborating with
Yeah,
the printer of the t-shirts and so on. So I designed this.
I'm also
So I'm
wearing one
trying.
as well, Ted.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's my work right there.
For sure,
All
for
right.
sure.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So I like this. I like the people, the public to see that you actually have a career in art that can be successful. You understand? All you have to do is follow your passion, go out there and do what you have to do. Right?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Now, in your story, two of your characters really, stood out to me growing up. Um, I would have been in primary school at the time. I'm not trying to date you, Ted, but I would have been in primary school at the time, and Coco Boy and Gerard were everywhere at a certain time. I mean, they were in all ads. They were on written material as designs and all these type of things. Where did you come up with these two iconic characters? That is a question that I've always wondered about.
Okay. So remember I told you that, I mean, we tried to make our acid mixtape when I was a DJ different. So that's where I
Right.
implemented the different skits. This is where Kukubo
Okay.
and Gerard were born, right? Before the visuals were done, these were characters in the skits. I think Kukubo and Gerard were introduced in Acid 8. Yeah, Acid 8. I think seven. They were having a party
Okay.
at their home or something. And yeah, it was that's where they were introduced. Right. I remember Scadi and I were brainstorming. So we knew the storyline already. Is a fit the fellas have it at the home, they are teenagers, and Coco Boy parents going overseas and they're having a fit at Coco Boy home. No, well at the characters' home. So we're trying to think of a name for the characters. Now Coco Boy's name was already there. And one of the characters is Coco Boy. So then all of a sudden, Scotty would say Gerald. So why Gerald? So because Coco Boy is a nickname already. So when you have a name like Gerald,
Right.
it makes sense to you. Coco Boy and Jim. So we're just there in my bedroom, right? Because that's where the studio was in my bedroom at the time. So Coco Boy and Jim. Coco Boy and Gerald. You like the sound of that? Yeah, man, not sounding good, man. Okay, so this is it. Coco Boy and Gerald. So this is when our partners were born. So basically, the two teenagers just got
Trouble,
themselves
yeah.
in a whole heap of trouble. Now, Cardi was also the editor of the
Yeah.
Leo magazine, right? So then they wanted something visual, like a comic strip, you know? So Scotty asked me to think of something. I couldn't think of anything. So then Scotty goes like, but then we have the content already. Like, what are you talking about? People want to, we have all the stories from the instant skits already. You don't have to be just put visuals to them. It's, oh yeah. That's why it was a
Yeah.
eureka moment. You know? And then I designed the characters
Hmm.
for Coco Boy and Gerard, and then actually made a little universe, the different characters for that. Right, we had More Pure, we had
Mm.
Latrina, we had different characters around that. So yeah, so Coco Boy and Gerard started from audio to stills, and then when I started with the animation, I'm there like, yo, I have two signature characters there already. So I started to animate Coco Boy and Gerard. So this was the evolution of Coco Boy and Gerard. This is where they came from. Right? And they're still my brothers there today. We treat them like children.
Yeah, yeah,
We
yeah.
treat them like children. And actually somebody approached me already to buy the characters, like
No,
to get
no,
them
no.
exclusive rights.
Nah,
I
you
told
can't do
them
that.
no, no. These are my characters.
And
Mhm.
then also you have some iconic skits. I think of the solid waste. And that's one of my favorite ads of all time. He's nasty, they nasty. Malpop, yo Malpop. So that's one of my favorite ads of all time. So you have that, and then you also have, well, I don't know if it was an ad, but I remember the market scene ad. Well, at least a market scene skit. I mean, bitches, yeah, bitches. So these things were just iconic, just, I guess, just humorous, but it also really told a story. So how did you go about putting these things together, whether it be audio or adding the visuals together? What is your creative process? I'm guessing.
Okay. Well, in a production like that, just at least like one of the business, the cruise thing, I would, it was, the concept was already there because it's a story that has been told over and over. I think I look at that story from my grandfather,
Right.
right? So
Mm-hmm.
what I did, I tried to flesh out characters. So the main character here is this guy who just come down, he just come from the States and so on. So
Right.
I would, I mean, analyze, think when people come from the States, what do they do with? It's some of them have
Right.
the gold chain, they have the fitted teeth,
Mm-hmm.
and they have the little the Lucian American accent, hey man, what's up,
Right. Right.
man?
Right.
So
Right.
that's
Right.
that's what I'm looking to, like most of the characters, the voices are me. So in this particular
Mm-hmm.
production, it was me who was the voice of the old man and
Right.
the
Right. Right.
American guy. So, hey man, what's up? And the woman was like, cool, thanks. So, to us being in a small country, you have to
Right.
be a one man show when it comes to production.
Yeah, for sure.
It's the sad reality, right? So I would do the voiceover and then put the visuals, put the characters and so on. I will do a mini storyboard as to how I'm going to put the different scenes. And afterwards, I'll do the animatic where I would put the audio to the elements of the storyboard. And then on each scene, I would just animate each of them as it is opposed to the, as it matches the animatic. And that's where the production comes in. The last thing I would do probably is, put the background music, these kinds of things, and the text because there was translation on it too as well.
Got you.
Hmm.
Got you. So yeah, I'm seeing, that it really is a bigger process than a lot of people believe.
It's
I mean, they see the
tedious.
final product,
It's
but
tedious.
it takes you a while.
It takes me a while because what I just explained to you here was just a creative production, my own creative production. But when I have to work
Hmm.
for a customer, a client, it is more painstaking than that because I have to do something from scratch where I have to look at the vision of somebody else, right? Take, for example, let's just say I have a production to do on saving the environment. We have to go out and do
Hmm.
research, all right, about which aspect
Right.
of the environment and so on, the best thing how to do. And then we have to have a balance. Let's just say we have different people in a particular production, characters. I have to get a balance of male and female, these kinds of things, so that certain people will not be left out, right? That's an
Right.
issue you
Right.
have to. Then we have to look at sometimes the client will want it in both Creole and English. Now
English. Right.
I
Right.
like to be correct when it comes to these kinds of things. So I have to then
Right.
hire
Hmm.
a Creole translator. Right? Now I
Hmm.
can
Hmm.
understand Creole, I can speak Creole to survive, but I am not fluent. So there I have to hire somebody. So usually it's the same translator to do the voiceover for me as well. All
Hmm.
right. So that's another aspect of it. So then when I do the English version, I have to do the Creole version as well. And and a lot of people also have the misconception that, let's just say, a 60-second animation would be more expensive than a 30-second animation. That's not the case. Let me explain. You
Hmm.
can have seconds of two people just talking, just doing,
Right.
that would be less animation. It's opposed to a 30-second animation where we have two characters dancing and flipping around the place and doing whatever. That is more
Hmm.
animation. You understand? That's more movement, it's more motion,
Yep.
right? So it would be more expensive than two people just having dialogue, you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, I want to talk to you about work-life balance. I know that you are a family man, a man with a big family, who has to manage a lot of things as a father, and but also as a businessman, as a creative, as a teacher, as all of these other things. How do you find balance?
To be very honest with you, that's a work in progress for me.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, it's a work in progress for me because to be very realistic, usually some things suffer at different times. When I know that
Mm-hmm.
I'm lacking family time and so on, I will spend time with my family and so on. So the business actually goes down, and then when I try to give the business more, the family goes down, and then there's this thing called me as well and mental my mental capacity and these kinds of
Hmm.
things. And this is where I included this fitness thing in there, as in I tried my best to be healthy and to go into fitness and so on, because after doing a workout, I feel accomplished. Like I did something for me for the day, and then I'll be able to take
Mm-hmm.
on any other task for that day because I feel accomplished. Yeah, and for health reasons, I um I took on the fitness um, challenge, I would say, in my schedule because with all the working and so on, the blood pressure went down. You understand?
Yep.
So I had to try to balance that off. So I went into fitness and I'm able to control it somewhat. But my issue is this thing called sleep. Yeah, me and sleep are enemies, and I know that's bad, but I try my best to overcome this thing. That's my biggest challenge, this thing called sleep.
Yeah. And we need it because I mean,
Yeah,
without sleep, we cannot function. I mean,
yeah,
that's how your body recharges.
because the thing about it is my mind constantly keeps me awake. Now the thing about it is sometimes I get angry when I actually want to sleep because usually that comes when I'm in the middle of work. But I have come
Right.
to the
Right.
realization that sometimes I would be on doing a particular job and I'm tired. And then I'm trying my best to try to get things done. And then I would just sit like as I go and sleep. And I would go to bed. And the moment I wake up, I would just sit on the computer and whatever was taking me 2 hours the night before, I could do that in 5 minutes with a fresh
Yep.
mind, well rested mind.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just, at times, yeah, you have deadlines. But at the end of the day, you don't want to be dead. Just trying to meet a
Right.
deadline. You understand?
Right.
So if I want to sleep, I just going to sleep. Yeah.
Absolutely. I agree with that. I would agree with that 100%.
Mhm.
We need to take care of ourselves so that we can take care of others
Yeah, exactly.
around
And like you
us.
said, I have a big family, so I have to take care of
Hmm.
them. Mhm.
For sure. Now, we're moving on to the back end of the interview. There is a phenomenon that is sweeping over the world right now. It's called AI, artificial intelligence. And many artists are worried that, AI is going to take over their business. They're not going to have a business anymore because everybody is going to utilize AI and everybody can do quote unquote art for themselves. And then there'll be no need for artists in the world. What are your thoughts on the impact of AI on individuals, on the art space in particular?
In my opinion, I don't see AI as a threat, especially as an artist.
Mm,
I've always seen AI as a tool in this
mm,
fast changing world, right, where everything is evolving so quickly. The introduction of AI has actually helped us to meet the demands of the world. Take, for example, let's just say I have 3 customers who have contacted me. All three
right.
customers are in the same business. Let's just say hairdressing. So and they want logos. Let's say all 3 of them want logos.
Mhm,
I can't give these people the same concept. Understand? So I would probably go on to an AI platform and just tell me, just put in the prompts and they will generate
mhm.
some stuff for me. Now, the AI images, I use them as inspiration. Okay. I won't
Creation,
just
right.
take because the way AI works is that it just generates stuff, taking things from the internet and just fuses them together, especially when it comes to the art.
Mhm,
Right. So there's a
mhm,
possibility that somebody might have something similar. All right. So what I usually do, I generate let's just say for one logo, I'd probably generate about 10 images and then just get little inspiration from each of them, and then it will spark my mind. All right. It actually helps me generate ideas for my productions. Now we have people who just take whatever AI give them, they just take it and yeah, it's a no. But I'm using logo creation, right, as an example, but there's a whole process behind that. Take, for example, when I design logos, right, I get to know the client. I get to know what
Mhm.
colors they need, what colors they want, although you could add that to a prompt. But I like to do things personally where I have a meeting with the client. Because for me,
Mhm.
you never get exactly what you want when you use AI. It's still evolving, so it won't give you exactly what you want. And there are times you have to give it so many prompts. It's like it feels like you're wasting time because you got to just sit down there, enjoy your stuff, and get all your concepts together, and then you actually get what you want, right?
Right.
But in a nutshell, I'm just seeing AI as a tool. I am not threatened by AI at all. We are now forced, right, to evolve our art, all right, to
Mm-hmm.
make something better. And ironically, with AI, when it comes to the generation of hands, the irony behind that is AI hasn't gotten the hand properly yet, hands and feet. And
No, no, no.
these are the hardest things to actually draw in real life, right? Because of all the
Wow.
different parts on the hands, all the different parts on the feet,
Mhm.
that have to be in proportion. All right, AI hasn't gotten it yet, and many artists haven't got it yet. They hide from using drawing hands and these kinds of things. But so I don't see AI as a threat
Beautiful.
at all. We should embrace it rather than fighting it down. The reason why I say that is because AI not going anywhere. AI not going
Exactly.
anywhere. Google, when Google started a search engine, all right, it started off, people didn't know what it was. Now everybody uses Google. So now, as a teacher, right, as a teacher, many teachers see AI as a means of the children cheating. But I
Right,
actually
right, right.
actually encourage my students to use AI. If you're not sure
Mhm.
about something, go on AI, generate your thing, but make sure you ask it for references. So you see if the reference is
Absolutely.
credible or not. Then what I do, when you come to class, you and me, we having a discussion, right?
The
Read what you learned about that.
oral test.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to make sure that you understood what you generated and you have to give me that assignment in your own words. And even if you make the AI
Yep.
paraphrase it for you, sit down there, close your notes, close your laptop, close your tablet, and let's have a discussion. Tell me what you know, right? So the advent of AI has caused us to change the way we teach and make it more personal.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. I like that you are adapting and you're teaching the students as well to adapt. Cause I think
Mhm.
like that is the most important thing that we can do in our schools. We need to teach young people and students to think for themselves, right? Thinking for themselves might look different from generation to generation. When you were going to school, there was no AI. When I was going to school, there was no AI at all. But with this innovation, you need to teach them how to utilize it for their benefit so that we can have a better society in general. And I'm seeing that you're doing that. And I'm seeing that you're really transforming their thinking, first of all, but
Yeah.
also transforming the way that they work
Yeah.
in the future.
Mhm. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Now, my final question to you then will be, what general advice would you have for aspiring artists? Individuals who want to get into the arts but are afraid. I mean, I think your story gives some advice, but summarize it for me for my audience.
Okay. I will use a phrase I learned from a movie. I think it's Rocky, right? Where he said that your best friend when it comes to challenges is fear. It is okay to
Mhm.
be afraid. It's okay to be afraid of the unknown. It's okay to be afraid of the future. But you just have to believe. You have to believe in yourself because let me tell you something. If you wake up in a morning, right, and the first thing that comes to your mind is drawing, if you go to bed and the last thing that was on your mind is drawing and some form of art, you are an artist. You understand? And
Absolutely.
don't let anybody make you think otherwise. All right. People may come and try to discourage you, but a lot of people, they discourage you because they themselves are afraid of you, right? They're afraid of what you're
Mm.
capable of. And I mean, I do get fight down. I do get all the lashes and so on. I do have moments where I feel like, yo, Ted Gassa, you just have to give up, right? But that's just for a time. That is just for a time. Your time to shine will come, right? And don't hide your talents. Do not hide your talents. Now, believe it or not, believe it or not, I am an introvert, right? I,
I can't believe that.
you know,
So am I.
yeah, I'm a shy person, right? But
Mm.
because of my love for the art, because of the love I have for education, right? I'm coming out of that comfort zone of me being to myself in a corner. I'm coming out of that that comfort zone so that others can learn for my craft, for our craft. So I'm coming out of that. So my point here by saying this is that we should always be out of our comfort zone. I always tell my students, when you are looking for ideas for something, do not, do not do the first thing that comes to your mind. Why? Because that's the first thing that will come to the other person's mind. You understand?
As well.
So
Mhm.
yeah, so doing the first thing would be in your comfort zone, but you have to dig deeper. You have to dig deeper to get out something that's different. And that's that's the ultimate, I would say obstacle when it comes to being an artist is producing something that is different. And that's where we will be, well, how do you say, discouraged, right? Because we have this thing where we compare ourselves to other people. And see,
Mm.
social media actually feeds the discouragement. We have to, and that's advice I have to give I'm giving to the upcoming artists right now. People will post their best art. They will not post their worst art. Now, that's why I respect artists who actually post timelines of where they started. Now, this one regrettable level. I should have saved all my work from the time I was a little boy so that people would see the stick
Mm.
men I used to draw, right? And as I evolve, I got better. Artists, they just post the best work that they have done. So you'd find that many people who are budding artists, they tend to be discouraged because they're like, yo, yes, yeah, man, work is, man. Wait. I will never get to that point. Nah, man, it's a process. If somebody were to ask me, how long have I been an artist? I will have to tell them because I'm 44 years right now. I will tell them I've been an artist for 44 years because every
Wow.
single um piece that I took in life added to my art. Even if, I mean, even if I went to technicals in college first and then I did architecture and so I learned something that added to me transferring to A level doing management of business, which helped me actually because I'm in a business now. You understand what I'm saying? So every single thing
Absolutely.
added. Now remember I was saying that I never liked science. I ended up loving science because I realized that animation itself is science. My degree is a
The science.
bachelor's in science. My master's is a bachelor in science because animation is movement. Movement is
Mhm.
physics. Physics is a science,
Is science. Yep.
right? Yeah. So that's another advice that I will give to the upcoming artists. Don't think that because you want to do art, you will forget about the other subjects. Nah. You see, the math's important. The maths very important when it comes to the English communication, these kinds of things, very important. It's these things that help me with all right, my career, communication, understanding different things. If I have something to do based on the landscape, I will implement what I learned in geography. You understand what I'm saying? When I'm doing 3D animation, I have to do a lot of topography when it comes to backgrounds. There was one time I had to do the whole St. Lucian Harbor for my virtual reality project. I had to do the whole harbor. So that means I had to do a contour first, right? And then elevate that. So all is geography, all right? So don't take the other subjects for granted, all right? Follow your path. Everyone has a different path. Just don't go on social media and say, yo, that man living the life, you know. Every time I see that man in a different part of the world, he have so many rights, whatever, whatever. You don't see how the man attain his rights. You don't know what path the person take. That is not your path. Follow your path. All right. And you will get there.
Absolutely. That is perfect advice for anybody, not just artists, but individuals in life in general. Follow your path and your time will come. Ted, I want to thank you so much for coming on to have this conversation with me. You know, I see you as an icon. You might not see yourself as an icon, but I do. And I know I'm not the only person who sees you as an icon. You have been an inspiration to young creatives, individuals who never saw themselves as creatives like myself. Now understand that I have always been a creative because of your insights, because you have been so willing to teach other individuals about art and about creativity. And I want to thank you so much for that, and to thank you for the work that you've done. And I look forward to what you will do in the future. Thank you so much, brother. This has been yet another Game Changers episode. This is part of the Icon series that we're putting together. Remember to like and subscribe. There are so many more amazing guests still to come. I look forward to seeing you, to hearing from you in the comments. Like and subscribe. We are on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts. Wherever you get your podcast, you can get Game Changers. As usual, stay hungry, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.
Free audio post production by alphonic.com.